Hey, it's Hillary, and here you go. I have some tips for you if you're going through your teacher training and it's getting to that point of testing out. I have 3 right now who are in that moment, and there's always these moments for each student that is universal. I had it, every single teacher I know had it, these 3 students have it, and just that fear of, oh my God, do I know this? Do I have this? And in the words of Taylor Swift, you need to calm down, right? You do, you have it. And I think the thing to remember is those that have gone through these comprehensive trainings have really done the hours, have really done the work. And what you have to just remember is, it's this advice my mentor, John Gossett, gave me, which I love. And that is to think about it this way. Your teacher training is just this foundation, right? It's this foundation that you're going to grow from and continue this journey of learning. And I tell my students and those that go through my mentorship all the time, it's like, you're constantly learning. I'm still learning. Everyone's learning. I learn from my students. They learn from each other. So his advice was to think of it as you're in the ocean and there's all these icebergs, right? And you can see the ice out of the water. That's your teacher training. Everything that you see above this, iceberg poking out is your teacher training. And just focus on that, just the basics of what you're learning. You've got the manual, you've got all this, you've done your hours, you know this. Everything below, there's this huge amount of ice below the surface. That's your future, that's where you're going. That's all the stuff ahead of you. But don't think about that now, just think about this little ice that's poking out. That's it. So that's my first tip, is just focus on what you've been learning. Second is, stop the social media looking around and seeing all the different versions of things. I know for my students, because they're just learning the traditional, Joseph's Way and some Kathy Grant, but there's so many variations, and there's contemporary, and there's classical, and there's fusions, and there's people posting things because they're just exploring, right? They're just playing around, and it can get really confusing. So stop that and looking at others and different things, and stick to what you're learning, because all that other stuff is noise and it makes you even more anxious. So iceberg, look at the iceberg, get off the social media, or at least just stop looking at the different exercises and different ways they do things and different positions, because it's all the little details you need to really know for your teacher training. And the third one is to talk to other students that have been through your training. Maybe they're still at the studio, or maybe they were in programs ahead. I know for here, each class gets to know the class behind them and ahead of them, because they get to sit in and work together and do things. So they always have that guidance of someone who's been through it or ahead of them. And that helps too, to kind of calm you down, because your director or the person that teaches you, your mentor, maybe they've been like me, out of teacher training for a really long time. And so it's nice to talk to someone that has just been through it, that can give you some guidance and calm your nerves and let you know it's going to be okay. And then the last one that's, I think, important is to kind of practice your test. So ours is like a 2-day thing. So the first day they just kind of have to go through the mat and the reformer and do the order. And then we go through different apparatus, and I just call out the name and they do the exercise. So what they kind of do is they do that. They kind of, in their moment, either in their head or at home, they go through, make sure they have it, kind of flashcard it. And then the second day is them teaching, right? Coming up with the plan, teaching their client, which you're doing, right? You're doing those assisted teaching hours. So just kind of practice it, get it where you feel comfortable, because there's always going to be nerves, always with a test, but they'll go away, because all you have to do is remember, I know this. I've been doing this for about a year, right? So I've got it. So that's my tip. and I'm going to make sure my girls get this, the ones that are getting ready to test out. But those are my tips for that moment that you're heading towards. So the closer you get, just remember my tips, and good luck. I know you've got this. Bye.